Hey gamers, Charlie Chop Shop here. As you may know, I just put out my first ever tabletop role-playing game, this little zine called Prophecy Quest. You can pick up a free PDF copy on my itch.io site, so go check that out. And stick around if you want to see how the game plays. So this is our Session 0 video. We go through the character building as a group, and just kind of figure out what our campaign is going to be. Now, disclaimer, I did mess up the audio. I recorded on the wrong microphone. It's not as good as it could be. It's still very listenable. It should still give you an idea of what building characters and playing the game is like. And by session 1, next episode, we'll have it all figured out. We'll be back on our normal audio quality. So I hope you like it. Let me know if you have any questions about how the game is played in the comment section below. Alright, let's play some Prophecy Quest. We'll start by building some characters. So the character creation is pretty fast and easy. Let me pull up the character creation page. So first you choose your stats. You can rearrange them in a minute if they change, maybe based on future decisions you make about your character, but just to get a base of who your character is. Stat-wise, you choose your stats. There's only 3 stats. There's body, mind, and heart. Body's pretty self-evident, most physical activity. Mind does apply to aiming, though. So if you're aiming like a ranged weapon or something like that, it would be mind and not body. But mind is also like, you know, how intelligent your character is, that kind of thing. And then heart is your like charisma, your ability to lie and persuade. And instead of a number, you get a dice. And so a low dice is not very strong, and a high dice is very strong. And you get a D4, a D6, and a D8. You can divide those among your stats to start.
Is there like a blank character sheet I can use?
Yeah, I made y'all some character sheets in Roll20. Under the Characters tab. Now, we don't have a Roll20 character sheet built yet, because that takes like a lot of coding and so forth.
Yeah.
But I built like a template character sheet that you can fill out pretty easily. And I also built some macros so you can just roll with the click of a button rather than having to type stuff in. So yeah, did y'all find your character sheets? I named them. Colin Clinton.
Yeah.
Alright, so first you choose your stats. If you click to the Attributes and Abilities tab on your character sheet, you'll see your stats there. Alright, everybody got stats spread out? Okay, so next is Profession. You know, the characters in this game, it's not quite like maybe D&D or some other games. You don't really start out as a hero per se. You do start out on an adventure. We'll talk about that in a second. But you're more of an ordinary medieval person in this, right? So you're probably, you know, some kind of... doesn't have to necessarily be a boring job. It's just like a real medieval profession. So that's the first thing you choose is what's your profession. And it doesn't actually have to be a job. It could also be like a position. Like you could be a countess, right? Or a prince or whatever for your profession as well.
And we just click edit up, and then we can like type that in next to it or whatever, and it'll stay on the page.
Right, exactly. And so your profession basically gives you a few things. It gives you a bonus to anything, you know, anytime it would give you knowledge in a situation, to like kind of give you an edge.
We can make up our own, right?
Yeah, you can make up ones that aren't on the example list. But it also gives you tools, and when you use your professional tools, like from your job, to do things, you get a big bonus to doing that.
Oh, I've already got an idea. Can my tool be like a weapon, or does it have to be like a separate tool?
It
can be a weapon if that makes sense for your job, for your profession. So you get to pick two. You get to pick 2 tools or a tool and a companion. But yeah, your tool could literally be like a sword and a shield if that's like what you're going for. So that way, every time you use your sword and shield, you get a bonus. It's a good idea that one of your tools is something you could probably use as a weapon, even if it's like not made to be a weapon. Let me know when y'all get a profession and tools that you like.
Tools.
Is there a tools thing?
You can just make up a tool and then you get to use it.
So if you look on this character generation handout in Roll20, Clint, and you look at at the bottom, there's a table that shows like example professions and example tools. You can pick one of those if you want, or like use it as inspiration. You see that? By the armor on the page there.
Okay.
All right, everybody good? You got some tools you like, Clint?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing is you pick your lineage, and that's like who your parents were or what their job was. Or if you didn't have parents, like whoever raised you. And it's a good idea, don't make the people that raise you have the same job that you chose. It can be somewhat similar, like it makes sense if one led to another, but you generally want to do something different from what your parents or whoever raised you did, just to give your character a bit more of an advantage in the game.
Okay, because I was just gonna have kind of like a parents and child do like, I don't know, basically take on the family business and is looking for like
I'll just say
a certain kind of thing.
I know that is medieval, and you're right. Like history-wise, that actually does make a lot of sense. But for the mechanics of the game, you want your character to do something slightly different. But so that's the thing. You can have them do the same thing, but with like different specialties. So what did you choose for your job, for your profession?
Herbalist.
Herbalist?
I figured, yeah.
So your parents could be like, you could say, I don't know, like healers. You know what I mean? Maybe because maybe you don't always use herbalism for healing. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, or they could be like botanists, gardeners. You know, anything like that.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, because I was just looking at like the lineage. So it's like very kind of like open to what each individual wants to do. There's not like here's a list of things to pick from. It's just here's some things that you can pick from. Okay,
right. Yeah, so you'll see like compared to again like D&D for instance, this game's a lot more like I guess narrative focused. It's a lot more about like we're always trying to focus on what's happening in the fiction of the world, and like we're trying to see how things inform the fiction. So. Yeah, for sure.
It seems a lot more like Monster of the Week in that way.
Yeah, it's influenced a lot by Powered by the Apocalypse and Monster of the Week, of course, and a lot of other games too. But in that sense, yes.
I did it.
Nice. So next is comforts, and yeah, y'all can roll for comforts in the Roll20 chat. You need to roll 2d6.
Just like R/D6 times 2?
/R. Or you can do double square brackets like this. I think I just posted in chat there. You could even copy and paste that. Or /R space 2d6. Either will work. Nice, and then you can... it adds them together if you do 2d6, but you can hover over it and see what each roll was. So you got a 1 and a 6.
A 1 and a 6.
And yeah, so same thing with the comforts. It gives you like a broad idea of what your comforts are, but you get to choose the exact comfort you employ. And the examples are just examples. You can make up your own. But the idea of comforts is these are things you like about your home. Because you're a medieval person. Generally, medieval people don't really want to leave their homes, right? But for some reason, your character does. We'll talk about why you all leave your homes. Like you'll be on a quest or a pilgrimage or something like that. But... these are things you miss from your home and things you seek out on the road, and they give you bonuses. Like when you seek out your comforts, you get healing, and you also get rerolls on the travel table via memories. So Clinton got a... man, why is my hover over the dice thing is being really weird and slow?
It's a 5 and a 3.
Okay. So you got favorite animal or pet. Oh, that's dope. So what that means, Clint, is that if you pick, let's say, dogs, and you run into some dogs and you boop their snouts and pat their heads, you get a memory, and now you can like heal from like hanging out with pups, basically. Favorite animal or pet is one of the best ones.
Yeah.
I think all game systems should reward you for petting dogs. So,
You know, can you pet a dog? That's a Twitter account, right?
yeah. Everybody got their comforts notated.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I put like in parentheses next to mine the like specific
Nice.
thing in the way that it applies to my character.
Yeah, good. Perfect. Make sure, by the way, hit save on your character sheet every once in a while and then hit edit again, just to stop Roll20's madness from deleting your work.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, next is the last part, gear. So you start with what's called basic kit, like your basic traveler kit, essentially. It is already listed on your sheet there. Armor, weapon. You can choose what your armor, what your weapon is. Ammo, if you have a ranged weapon. You have a water skin. You can choose what's in your water skin. It could be water or wine or something else. You have basic clothing, a backpack. You have food for traveling, and 10 pennies. But then you get to pick a few extra things. So all of you have that stuff. But additionally, you all can take one common trinket. So I'll show you the item and equipment table here. You'll have to click it to enlarge it. But everybody just roll a d20 to start. We'll see what trinket you all start with. Everybody gets one common trinket. Okay, so Knucklebone, you get a pink pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And this could be like a family item, or it could just be something you have as like a bartering good you brought with you in case you need to trade it. You know what I mean?
I also got a 10.
Nice. Pink pearl. You can re-roll if you want to not have the same one.
I would like that.
Okay.
I'd
Clint.
like to not have the same.
Ooh, a small diamond.
Yeah. Or ruby, emerald, or sapphire, your choice.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna take an emerald.
Nice. I like
The
it.
Chaos Emeralds.
Okay, I got a 2. Small clay sculptures.
So you can decide what the sculpture is, what the form of the sculpture is. So, in addition to the common trinket, then you each can choose one. You either get one item from the gear table of your choice. You can roll for 2 medium trade goods, which are, basically money in this game. Or you can take 1 silver talent, which is like 100 pennies. Whichever makes the most sense for your PC's, profession and lineage. So, most of you, unless you chose like noble or something like that, you probably won't have a talent, unless you're like a wealthy merchant. But you might have 2 trade goods or a piece of gear from the table of your choice.
So, do I just note down 1 talent on my... Or do I add it to money?
Yeah, you can add your money.
So I have 110 pennies now?
Yeah, so I usually just call them silvers, so you can just note like 1s, 10p or whatever. Because 100 coins will start counting against your inventory, so you want the silver coins to keep your penny count low. That makes sense. So you have 1 silver, 10 penny.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what do y'all want to do? Pick a gear or roll on the table 2 times?
Down the roll.
Okay, so 2d20.
And you said it's medium trade goods?
Yeah.
Okay.
Each medium trade good takes up 2 inventory slots, by the way.
Okay.
And you can, you have slots equal to your body dice. So if you have like a d6 body, you have 6 slots. But your kit items and your tools, none of that counts against your inventory slots. Only like trade goods and things like that. kit items are like worn on your body. It's not like something you're actually like lugging. So what'd you get for your trade goods, Clinton? You got 8.
I got a saddle and a jug of oil.
You can re-roll the saddle if you want. I feel like that one is kind of hard to travel with.
Yeah, because I'd also like the saddle makes a lot of sense because I did choose like the rancher like background or the rancher like history.
We're playing like the same character. It sounds like.
Well, what did you choose for your tools? Because you could replace one of your tools with a companion and do like a horse, and then you'd have a horse and saddle.
True.
I have a companion as well.
I chose a herbalist bag and a mortar and pestle.
Nice. Well, you can also just be carrying this.
Like perfect.
Carrying the saddle as a trade good is, I think, fine as well. So, you know, it's just a heavy thing to carry.
Imagine carrying like a fine leather saddle on your back on like a fucking journey.
Yeah, saddle might need to be moved into the large trade goods column, probably.
I could re-roll that if anything.
Yeah, it's up to you. Go ahead. If you want to re-roll, go ahead.
Why not? Yeah.
The tables are all just suggestion, inspiration. They're never like hard and fast rules, really.
Bundle of cloth. Hell yeah. Like, take a bundle of leather.
There you go. And Colin, you took gear? Or no, you took trade goods too, huh?
No, I just took a 1 talent.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Nice. What about you, Knucklebone? What are you going with?
I also took a talent.
Ooh, I'm interested to hear what all your professions are. We'll go over your characters here in a second. Just making sure. I think that's it, right, for the character generation? Yeah, okay, so why don't we go around and talk about each person's character real quick. If you haven't given them a name already, go ahead and name your character, too. Alright, y'all got names?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's go around. And everybody just tell us what tell us your profession, your lineage, just the basics of your character. You don't have to have like a fully fleshed out idea of your character yet, but just the things you chose during character creation, pretty much. Who's going first?
I'll go first if no one else will.
Okay, sure.
So my character is Sten Longsheep.
Yes!
He's back, baby.
Sten! That's an oldie, but a goodie. Oops. There you go.
And his profession is shepherd. And he was raised by like a nomadic tribe of herders. You know, they like traveled with their animals to like where they needed to graze and stuff like that.
Sure.
So the tools that he has is he has his shepherd staff, which he also uses as a weapon. It's like a melee weapon, essentially.
Is it like the crook with the hook on the end?
Correct, yeah.
Nice.
Like a shepherd's cane, you know?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that he has is he has a sheep companion that goes with him everywhere.
Does it have a name?
I haven't thought of a name yet, but it will.
Okay. Nice. And you took you took a talent for him?
Yeah.
I don't think...
But let me explain. Just let me explain.
Okay.
So the comforts that I got were position of privilege, and so I think that Sten like broke off from this like nomadic tribe, like broke away from his parents because he got a really good offer from like a fiefdom, like a king.
Sure.
Wanted essentially for him to tend to his royal flocks like exclusively.
Oh.
He really liked his like he was like really good at that. So he like takes care of the king's sheep. Like exclusively.
So
that's like his only job.
You grow like the finest wools to be woven into the finest textiles.
Correct. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And so my second comfort then is study materials, and I think that he because he traveled around for so long, like with his family and stuff like that, he has knowledge of like local trading routes, like what goods go for what prices and what places. He has like a really good mercantile wit. You know what I mean?
So
like trading is like what he's done his whole life, basically.
The study materials he likes are like business books and like ledgers and like that kind of stuff.
So maps. I said he brought
maps.
a lot of maps from like the nomadic style. You know what I mean? Because they would travel all around, so they needed to get goods and stuff while they were traveling around. They could trade animals here and there. So he knows like a lot about like the layout of the land that we're in.
Sure, yeah, and likes to collect more maps and learn more as well.
Correct. Yeah.
Sweet, I like that. And was there anything else? So he's got the sheep companion.
And the gear that he carries with him is a small clay sculpture that his mother made of a sheep for him when he was a little kid.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Who's next?
Go. So my character's name is Gorblar Murblock. He's a that was raised by ranchers, and his grandmother taught him herbal medicine to help around the farm, to help the animals and everything, and it kind of like led into also helping around the ranch with if anyone got sick, because it's like it's not like a large ranch, it's like a pretty decent ranch. It's nothing fancy, but it's kind of like just middle of the road. It's like
Sure.
not like too wild and not high class, but it's like known in the area.
Sure. Got a good bit of land there.
Yeah. Known for their cows.
Okay.
So the tools I'm gonna have with Gorblar is a herbalist bag and a mortar and pestle, so I can like pick up herbs and then like just make like little combo medicines with them in case I need to, or anything like
Nice.
not even medicine if I need to, like I don't know, somehow make some buffs.
Sure.
Comforts, just because these are the what Gorblar grew up with, cows and cheeses.
Oh, nice. I love both of those. So fine cheeses and petting a good cow, or milking a cow, or anything to do with cows.
Exactly, just hanging out, just seeing a cow in a field and be like, that's a good cow.
All right, great. I love it. And then we have Jethro.
I'm actually not running Jethro this time.
Oh, I see.
I still have that from last time.
I see. I just saw the name.
I am going to be running a new character. His name is Wendell Heimwerker.
Ooh.
He is a charlatan. He practices manipulation to get what he wants. He was raised by mendicants. His parents were part of a monastic order that abandoned all material wealth and everything they earned. They put towards the monastery that they worked with. And Wendell said, "This is no way to live. I don't like to do work, and I don't like to not have money." He has, for his equipment, a set of trick dice and a lemur, whose name is Tanana. Tanana, yeah.
Love it. And of course, I'm sure the lemur is involved in the in the swindling.
Yeah, he's got sticky hands.
Oh yeah, awesome! I love it. What about comforts for?
The comforts that Wendell indulges in are gambling and fine haberdashery.
Ooh, so he's a hat guy.
He enjoys a hat. He enjoys a kerchief.
An ascot, if you will.
An ascot.
Awesome. Sweet. So that's our party. So let's talk about how and why your party is on quest together already. There's a couple ways we can go here, right? This is the quick and dirty method for like starting a new campaign. You can start with shared history. This is completely optional for you all, and you can decide if you do or don't have a shared history. So the players can choose to establish a history between their player characters if they wish. Roll on the relationship table below, or choose an option that both players like and decide on any necessary details. Usually one relationship with PC is good enough to get the ball rolling.
So to me, it sounds like we've all picked characters that are like very much in line with one another. Like we have like a merchant, a shepherd, and a rancher.
Yeah.
Of course that makes sense.
Here's the relationships table if you want to look at it. So again, you can roll on it, or you can just choose one. Or like you can choose a category and roll on it. So you can say like, oh, we're friends, and then you roll a d4 on the friends table to see which one you get, kind of thing.
I mean, I think that we would all have like business relations, if nothing else, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, Sten, you are a sheep herder. Meanwhile, hold on real quick. Before we move any further, I can't talk. I'm going to have you all set your Roll20 display names to your character names for me so I can call you by character names. If you click on the settings tab there at the top right, you can change your display name and save it. Roll20.
Oh,
Gorblar?
Gorblar.
Okay, yeah, so Sten, you're a sheep keeper for a local king. Should we give a name to the king? Roll a d20 for me. $12. King Carmack? I like this.
Sure.
The ring of that. So
Why didn't the chat scroll down far enough for me to see?
Fun.
I'll figure it out. Sorry.
So you work for the king. That's like a possible point of connection, right? But you can also choose to, if you want to roll, like work associates is one, but we got to discuss exactly how you work associates, right?
I definitely think that Sten might have a deal with Wendell in which he provides me wool for my fancy hats.
Ooh. Can't see the rolls in chat. Are you using Safari?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have Chrome, I would use it. If not, I would download it.
I have it. Oh wait, now I can see it. Okay, I just needed to full screen it is all.
Oh, for sure. Safari, but for future reference, Safari does super bad with Roll20 in general.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why. Like, I think that like Gorblar and Sten probably like trade livestock at times, and I think that when we have excess livestock that we like need to sell off or whatever, like you are one of our connections that we can go to, you know, right? Like, because you said your character is like a merchant, basically, right?
Merchant with a lowercase m.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like more like on the shady side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a trick,
Okay.
like a con man. That would be more accurate.
Yeah,
With,
yeah.
some sort
So,
of
like-
front.
Maybe we get like, you know, there's like I don't know, like since I like work for the king or whatever, there's like sometimes like a pregnant sheep will have like an extra sheep that no one really sees, and I'm like, oh, I make some money off of this. You know what I mean?
Well,
You're like our
I like the rare hat
dark
thing.
market.
The rare hat thing is a good connection though too, because it's like no one gets the king's wool, right? Unless you like know someone, and he knows you, right? And like that's you're like that. You're like splitting off a little bit of the king's wool without him noticing, and like fudging the books so the king won't notice that you're like giving away his sheep wool. It's just like a king's forest. You can't hunt in a king's forest, right? That'd be like the ranger being like, "Go ahead, just like kill one deer in his forest. It's fine."
Yeah, that's good. It's chill.
So that's I think an obvious connection for you two. And then trading livestock with Gorblar's family, is that the idea? Because they're like cattle ranchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Like sometimes the king has feasts and stuff like that, and he's like, I need cows, and I'm
Milks
like,
and cows.
So are you all around?
dog, we got wool.
Are you all around the same age? Then would you say? What age are your characters?
I think Sten is actually fairly young for the amount of success that he has. I think he's like mid-20s.
Yeah, I would kind of have to say like because it's my family's ranch, so it's like
Yeah, right.
I'd say like mid-20s, like working on the ranch, like not really like kind of learning the ranch.
Well, but also like you got to think that those things are generational, right? So there's probably 2 or 3 generations of your family all living there. So like saying it's like the family ranch doesn't necessarily mean that it's like, you know what I mean? Like people didn't get old and then move out of their mom's house.
Yeah,
you know?
no, exactly. Well, that's like part of the character builder for my character as well, is that like the grandmother who had like herbalist knowledge and stuff like that, kind of pass it down to Gorblar to help like with, because kind of just like a very like someone needs to learn this skill. Here you go.
Well, I was gonna say that could be another really good connection. Is that like you maybe became like the regional herbalist. Like people maybe often came to your grandmother. You know, she mostly would work on healing animals, but you like kind of took it to the next step and like really explored herbalism. So now you could maybe be even known in your little region as like an herbalist. People stop by and ask for medicines and things like that. So
and who knows? Sometimes I might need outlawed plants.
Yeah. Well, and I was gonna say you could also be curing Sten's sick sheep. That's a very hard sentence to say. Sten's sick sheep. Sten's sick sheep.
Sten's sick sheep. Wow, that is really difficult.
So I think that's a good connection. But okay, that makes sense. So you all kind of live in the same region. The king that rules this area. So I guess we're going to say you have a shared home as well. Should we roll a location to see what your home is? Should we just say it's like the outskirts of a castle town kind of thing? Since you are serving this
we're like,
king?
I think it would make sense, like, you know, if Wendell was like more in the city area, you know, and like we're kind of on the outskirts, like in the land surrounding the fiefdom, you know, like where the farms and shit would be.
Yeah. Okay, so just grabbing a name off the names table, I'm going to name our little castle town Verness.
Okay.
So it's not huge because it's like a castle town, but it's still a city. Like, you know, merchants come and go. It's a central point of interest in the area, for sure. What's like an interesting detail about the castle town of Verness that we could give it?
So like the castles and stuff like that are generally built out of like the local materials that are around, right? So like each castle is sort of like made out of the local landscape, so it sort of fits in really well. I think it would be cool if maybe there was like a quarry nearby that we got all the rock to build the castle in the town of, and that there was some strange feature about this like, material that we have.
Well, what if it's all like a black type stone, like obsidian or black stone? Because we could change the name. One of the suggested names is Black Mott, and a mott is like a hill, you know, so it could be built up on this hill out of like black stone, kind of overlooking the countryside. So I think
that would be cool. What do you guys think?
I do kind of like Black Mott for a castle name, a castle town name.
Castle Black Mott. That's got a ring.
For sure. All right, cool. I like that. So that's where you're all from, or at least the area that you're from, right? So you're all traveling together. We're going to pick up in the middle of a quest. We're going to skip the meeting in a tavern. That's kind of one of the things Prophecy Quest is supposed to do. We just jump into you on a quest, right? So you're all traveling together. You know each other. You're all heading to a similar destination. Let's roll to see what the destination is. Somebody roll me a 2d6. Nice. Okay, 7 is
6 and a 1 again.
In this case, we're gonna add and you're gonna get a hamlet. You're heading to a hamlet. That's your final destination on whatever your quest is. We'll talk about your specific motivations for the quest in a minute. Let's give it a name. I'll roll for this one. This hamlet is called stable. I roll a 10. It's called Yarma. That's a good, like, little tiny village name. So keep in mind, a hamlet is a little smaller than a village. It's really more just like a kind of collection of homes. So let's give an interesting detail to the hamlet of Yarma. Here's some examples. It's countryside manors, like rich people, right? Have like put like 3 or 4 big manor houses in a countryside together. Farm cottages, so it could just be like 3 or 4 farmers, you know, families have kind of collected on a wide spot in the road. River shanties, I kind of like that. Cave mouth huts, so huts in a cave mouth somewhere. clifftop hunters cabins.
You know what I would think would be, I think would be really cool.
What's that?
So that name just like, I don't know, just made me sort of think of it out of the blue. But like, what if there was like, so this is like real medieval society, right? So like maybe there is no like magic per se or whatever, but there's like rumors of like a witch who lives in the woods near there, and the town that sprung up is all people that are like trying to get cured. So like maybe like lepers.
It's like a leper village, yeah.
Yeah.
Like an outcast village.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. And like a hospice, like maybe, yeah. Maybe do they even call her a witch, or do they call her a miracle worker?
I mean, it just depends on your perspective, right? Like the king views her as a witch, like the people that are seeking her help, yeah.
The people that are seeking her probably call her like a saint or something.
Yeah, that's not God's healing. Not the king's God.
Yeah.
Not the king's god.
I like that. Okay, so Yarma is let's say a woodland hamlet of outcasts, lepers, people seeking healing from a mysterious local witch. Should we give the witch a name, or at least like a moniker, local moniker?
So I think it'd be cool if like the town was sort of named after her a little bit, and her name would be like Yargo Baba or something like that.
Oh, Yarma Baba.
Yeah, but it could be like Yargo, and then the town is like Yarma. You feel
I
me?
see. Well, I like Yarma is like kind of a weird name for grandma, right? So
yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like hags and witches have like a grandma something or auntie something, right? Or nanny something or other. What about, here, let's look on the names list. Well, if we're going with Yarma, what was yours? What did you say again, Colin?
Yarma Baba.
But, no, it wasn't Yarma, though. It was a slight change.
Yargo. Yargo Baba.
Baba Yargo.
Yeah.
Cool. Like it.
That's cool.
Yeah, me too. Yes, it is. Alright, let's see. So you have your destination. You're going to this witch, healer, leper village place. So again, you don't have to tell me right now exactly why your character is going there. And, we can decide you're all going there for the same reason. You're probably all going there for the witch in some form or other, right? I would guess. But your character's specific reason for wanting to go is yours alone. Maybe you want to do trade there, maybe you're pilgrimaging there for healing, or, to learn from her, or you can come up with your own motivation. But your character has some motivation to go to this place, right? And so you've all decided to go together, since you know each other and traveling is dangerous. And you've already left on your quest from your home. You've already set out from Blackmont a few days, and now we decide your current location. So somebody roll another 2d6 for me.
I'll get it.
So you have a long way to go to your destination of Yarma still.
Oh, that's 2d5 to it.
But we find you in... Still a 5, alright.
Damn.
In a ranch or farm. Somewhere along the way. That seems to be a common thread so far throughout this landscape. So, something interesting about the ranch or farm. Thoroughbred horses, vineyards, reindeer. What's an interesting thing about this ranch or farm?
Did they raise something wacky?
Ooh, yeah, ostrich farm? Cassowaries?
I was just about to
say ostrich farm, yeah.
That's
I
funny.
think it's ostrich. Cassowaries are good too.
Do they
They're like bird farmers.
I feel like they raise ostrich mounts, not ostrich meat, but like riding ostriches. These ain't eating ostriches.
Combat ostriches.
Yeah, these are riding ostriches. Who's here?
I don't know if I would want like a combat ostrich though, because there's like one glaring weakness: the big neck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but their feet.
Maybe they're for like racing. They can. And they're rich because they breed the fastest ones.
They can kill people with their kicks. Keep in mind that, and they do every year.
Yeah, for sure. But have you ever seen that the Instagram of that lady who raises the ostriches?
Yeah. No.
Anytime they start fucking with, fucking with her,
she just pushes on their neck.
She just double hand grabs them by the neck and like swings them around.
Yeah. So let's call it Feather something, right? Like Feather Farm? The Feather Farm? No, I don't know. Let's see. Any names on the list that would make sense for an ostrich farm? Not really.
What about Talon Feather?
Ooh, the Talon Feather?
The Talon and Feather Ranch.
Talon. I just like kind of Talon Feather, all one word. Talon Feather Ranch.
Oh yeah, true. Talon Feather sounds bad. Yes.
Like almost like that's their name. You know, people take their names from their jobs oftentimes. So. Nice. Okay, so we find you. We zoom in on you. We start the campaign with you at Talon Feather Ranch, just somewhere you've stopped along the way. And okay, so here's the real kicker of the campaign, right? We've established like some basic facts, but you've all learned, whether living in the same town or traveling together, there's something about you, in particular, your character. Oracles are drawn to you, right? Strange people and things come before you often. For some reason, they seek you out, and they recite weird prophecies to you. And they always come true. You've learned, much to your dismay, you can ignore them all you want, and they can be as cryptic or as hard to understand as, as possible, but they still always come true in some way. So this is what really has, like, your character was an ordinary person, but you're destined for something greater. You're not sure what, but you know it has to do with these prophecies and these oracles. And you've already learned that you all three share this trait, right? Since you started traveling together, oracles have come before you and recited prophecies, and they've come true for all three of you. So now your fates are intertwined somehow, right? Now, the thing about these oracles is you always know when one is coming, when they're about to recite the prophecy, because the prophecy always starts with the same line of poetry, right? It always starts out, "Listen now, travelers bold, heed these words, your fate foretold." Like, that's always the precursor, and then they rattle some rhyme off, right? That's prophetic. So the thing about the prophecies is now, since you have a shared fate, you have what's called a prophecy track, which will change throughout the game. We'll get more into how it works later, but if you look at the very bottom of the map in Roll20, you guys see this track of numbers from -2 to +2. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's your prophecy track. It's shared as a group. It's like a resource. It gets added to rolls on the travel table. Anytime you travel somewhere, you have to roll on this table to kind of figure out what happens. Low rolls are bad, right? And high rolls are good, like good things happen. So you have to add the prophecy track number to your rolls on that table. So if your prophecy track is at -2, you have a very high chance of something bad happening when you're traveling, essentially. And this number fluctuates. It's like a shared resource. You can spend 2 points of it and move it down to automatically succeed at something at any time, or to turn a failed roll into a successful roll. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's called a heroic action, when you spend prophecy for an auto success. There's other things that bring it back up, like rolling crits and stuff like that. But it starts at +2. So you start out in good standing, but the longer you go without kind of overcoming a prophecy, the lower it's going to get. Every time you overcome one of the prophecies, it resets to +2. So right now it's at +2 because you all, as we find you in the village, or rather the ranch, Talon Feather, you've just overcome a prophecy together. So somebody roll a d20 for me. 2d20, sorry. And I'll tell you what prophecy y'all overcame. I should have asked this at introduction as well. What is everyone's character's pronouns? Like, Clint is Gorblor, they, them, like you, or is...
No, Gorblor's just male.
Okay, he, him?
Yeah.
Dope. What about, I'm assuming Wendell is a boy?
Yes, Wendell uses pronouns he and him.
Nice, and Sten
It's
as well.
just 3 bros
Yeah.
hanging out.
3 baby boys on an adventure.
3 bro adventure, this one is. We're all on the same lifting schedule. It's great.
Yeah.
Grilling out every night,
Jim.
football on the weekend.
Gym tan laundry.
God.
All right, you got what? 5 and an 11.
Mm-hmm.
So the oracle was divine talking stones, which I kind of like. So some sort of rocks spoke to you with the voice of God, and they told you the last prophecy was, "Listen now, travelers bold, heed these words, your fate foretold. Lock and key, rule of 3, close your eyes if you wish to see." So we can decide what exactly that means. You overcame that prophecy together recently. In some way. Overcame it, rose to meet it, lived through it, survived it, whatever that might mean, you know. So again, it was lock and key, rule of 3, close your eyes if you wish to see. So what strange or prophetic...
I think maybe like the 3 of us, as we were like leaving the town or whatever, got kidnapped by like a group of like bandits that are kind of on the outskirts of town. And so that's like the rule of 3. There's 3 of us. And then the lock and key is that we were all chains up. And then to close your eyes to see, we had to wait till it was dark and nighttime so we could escape.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I'm down for that.
Just like off the dome.
Yeah.
Perfect. So this thing, was prophesized. You didn't maybe see this one coming because it was very vague. But as soon as you were like in manacles, you were. I can imagine all 3 of you sitting in the darkness of their camp together, being like, "Yeah, this is it." Like that's
Yeah.
So yeah, but you escape. You make it back to Talon Feather Ranch, but there's no resolution, right, with these bandits yet. You just escaped and left them there.
Yeah.
We may see them again. Should we give the bandit crew a name?
Certainly.
Let's see. I'll roll a d20. An 18. Let's see. Faction name. Ooh. 19. I like 19. Keepers of Night. Is that too like edgy for bandits?
Well, if they're the Keepers of Night, then we shouldn't have been able to escape at night.
Sure. What about the Greyfinch Guild?
Like that.
Maybe they wear gray cloaks or something, or gray feathers.
That sounds like a group of bandits that you can easily escape from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also like that maybe if like they're like maybe like a Robin Hood sect, like, and they thought that we had money because we're like a trader and the kings.
But yeah, maybe they saw, because of your position of privilege, maybe they saw some sort of seal or signet that you have with you, and they were like, "Ooh, a kingsman."
Oh, let me just be very clear about this. Sten only dresses in the fanciest, finest woolen clothing.
Yeah, okay.
There's like gold filament in it, and like
Sten's got that. He's got that sheep drip.
yeah medieval drip, certainly.
Okay, cool. So you've managed to scramble back to Talon Feather Ranch. You like get back right before sunrise, essentially, and you were staying here before, I think, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe was it like you pounded on the door, like in the middle of the night situation, and they were like, "Come in," or?
I think like through our connections, like we had known and we had planned to stop there and meet up with them, so maybe we had like sent word out.
Sure. And bigger farms and ranches are a common stopping point for travelers anyway, right? So it's like something you knew about, and we're kind of planning to make it there. Cool. So you make it there. You crash in to the common room of this place. The big open fireplace is roaring, and the people that run the ranch welcome you and tell you you're safe. You're able to kind of like sleep in a bed and clean yourselves up, and we'll like pick up kind of the next day, basically after you've escaped from the Greyfinch Guild, and you basically have the run of this ranch. It's a really nice place. The people that own it basically provide any food and water you need. It's pretty much free. You might have to do a little work here and there, but other than that is where we will start our campaign.
Nice.
What time is it? Getting
It is
11 here.
it's getting
10:04 Central Time.
pretty late. Yeah, I don't know if we have time to play a whole travel round, the travel turn. So maybe we should end it there for the night and pick up with you guys heading out of Talon Feather Ranch next time. I'm gonna say towards the nearby mountain ranges. You have to like cross a little mountain pass to go to Yarmouth. So,
Mhm.
and that's where we'll start next session.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, this character building's pretty tight.
Thanks.
I like how it's like a really like quick pace, like.
Yeah, I mean, the session. I feel like setting up the reason you're together, like setting up the actual campaign, is the hardest part. But like the character building is like real quick and snappy. I feel like we had that done in like 15 or 20 minutes, almost. You know.
Yeah.
And that's really
able to just like kind of. Oh, sorry, but I was just like not really able to like write anything beforehand because there's a lot of dice rolls, and then being able to like I was just luckily able to get like animals and like food. And so it's just like, okay, tight. Like, I'll pull that into a rancher background and be able to, like, work this in really well. And just all kind of, like, fell in together.
nice. I'm glad that's very much what I want. I want it to feel like it has some depth and you can do almost anything, that you want. And those random rules, because, like you said, when you don't, it is very focused on not coming with something prepared, obviously, and instead making something together. And so it can be hard to flesh out a character when you just show up at a table with nothing. But that's why I think like adding comforts, like the things your character enjoys, like those little touches kind of give you some information on who your character actually is as a person, right? Like fleshes them out a little bit.
Yeah. And it also is like good kind of backstory, like building blocks.
Yeah, right. We we're able to tie all of your like the kind of intricate, interesting things about your characters into like one region, like setting almost pretty quickly. Also, this is a good group. Like we're all like comfortable friends who are creative and stuff, so like I feel like we were able to like play off each other real easily. We're good at brainstorming with each other, All right, cool. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching, and join us next time. We'll actually jump into the campaign and play our first session, and